If you're interested in making backlit signage that looks just like this without the need for a printer, today we're gonna go through what you need and how you do it. So let's get started. The first thing you're gonna want is just colored translucent vinyl. This is whatever color you want your logos to be or whatever color you want that glow to be. You're gonna need one of each of those. The next is block out. You can use black like we did here, or you can use white like we did on the back of this one here. It just depends on what color you want your background to be. The third thing is a piece of acrylic. You can use white like we're gonna use today, or you can use clear like we did in this one. The only difference is if you use a clear one, you're gonna wanna add a diffuser film before the block out, but we'll talk about that once we get to application. So first, let's just go over and cut this vinyl. So there's two ways we can do this. So if you look really closely on here, you can see we cut out these little X's on here. Once I kind of weed this, actually, you'll be able to see them a little better, but we cut out these little X's. You can leave those on if you want and use those for alignment if you would like. For our case, I'm not gonna worry about it. For ours, it's super simple, so we'll just eyeball it. So what I'm just gonna do is just trim this down so it's a little easier to work with. And then we're just gonna weed out this logo here in a second. So the next thing you're gonna wanna do with the translucent vinyl is if you have a piece of scrap, that's great. You're looking for a piece that's roughly the same size as the logo you just cut out. So you can see with this one, it completely covers the logo, so that one will work. We didn't have a scrap on this one, so instead I'm just gonna cut a piece of scrap. Basically, you want it to be about the same size as the logo. Ideally just a little bigger. So we'll just cut a piece off like this. Then you can match it up. You wanna make sure it's not too big because this is gonna end up going on the back, like you see here. So we just want it to be a little bigger so you cover up the entire back. So I'll trim this out real quick. Just like this, or you can see it on this side, it's completely covered up. So that's the next step. From here, we're just gonna go ahead and cut the block out. So now we're at the point where you're probably asking like, okay, how exactly do I set up the file to get that neon glow effect? So what we did is we cut out the logos just as they are. So the next step is to cut your block out. When we cut the block out, all we're doing is putting a little border around the entire logo. The width of that border is kind of whatever width you want your glow to look on there. So from there, you're gonna leave this because you want the letters to be blocked out completely. And from here, all you're gonna do is we're gonna apply tape, and then you're just gonna come by and you're just gonna put these letters directly over the top of the block out, like we're doing here. And then once you do that, once you light it up from the back, you're only gonna get light to come through, obviously where there isn't block out, which is right around the letters. But during the day, you're gonna get this orange and this blue color on a black background, which is exactly what you're looking for. So from here, we're gonna apply some tape to all of these, and then we're gonna go through the application on the acrylic. So for this, I'm using 510U. Really, any clear tape will do. This one, I just like the tack, and it has a little airgrass in it, so it's about the easiest application tape I could find. But an alpha tape clear or like a 1310, all that stuff would work just fine, I'm sure. So all we're gonna do is just apply this real easy here. Hopefully not get too many bubbles on our end because we're not professionals here. So the next step, and this one is rather important because if you do this wrong, you'll just hate yourself later, but we're gonna remove both sides of the backer. The reason for that is we're gonna wet apply these onto the back. If I take this off, I wet apply, and then I go to take this off later, what's gonna happen is this is gonna get wet and it's not gonna come off smooth at all. So make sure you remove them up front. You'll definitely have to clean them a little extra because of that, but it'll be worth it just in terms of how easy you can remove the backer. All you have to do is get it started. So you think this is bad, you should try and get it wet. See if it comes off. This is ridiculous. One side done. The next thing you're gonna wanna do before you put your vinyl on is wipe this down with isopropyl alcohol just to make sure that there's good adhesion on here. So we'll wipe it down, trying to get your fingerprints on it, obviously. And then we can try and peel this off of its backer. You may end up having to squeegee it again, especially if you've waited any amount of time at all. So if you use a higher tack tape, that'll come off. easier than it did, but it might be a little harder once you get to this section. So the next step we're gonna do is we're gonna actually spray this. Like I said, it's wet apply. We're gonna use baby shampoo and water, just like it says on this bottle. It actually says 1 quart of water to 1 teaspoon of baby soap. So that's what we recommend. It seems to work pretty well. I get this as kind of as mist feature as I can. You want it to be completely soaked for the most part. So I spray the entire panel, and then you do the same for the sheet. So you're just gonna hold it up, and then you're just gonna spray the back. And this is just gonna let you line it up easier once we lay it down. So set that aside. Trying to get it to touch together because that would make it more difficult for you. And then you're just gonna lay it on the substrate. If you have a rollover table at this point, it will definitely make your life easier because you'll be able to have a backlit feature and see where the panel is. We'll just kind of shift it around until we get it on all 4 corners. You can barely see the corners here, but we are pretty much there already actually. And then from there, you're just gonna squeegee the water out however you wanna do that. I just go from one side to the other. If you trim this tape too tight, peeling it off kind of becomes a nightmare. So I always try and leave myself a good amount on at least one side. Don't have to leave it a ton on all sides, but at least on one side will be good. And then make sure you squeegee all the water out. And then I say, give yourself some extra room because you'll see how I peel this off. What you're gonna do is you're just gonna grab this, you're gonna roll it basically as tight as you can, and then just kind of try and roll it off the edge. What you may end up having to do is kind of squeegee that edge down. Sometimes it doesn't want to release from the liner, but as soon as you can get a corner off the liner, the whole thing should really come off relatively easily. So I'll just hold this panel down, pull it low towards me, and there we go. There's the first part of our panel. From here, we'll wipe it down again. Just want to get it at least relatively dry. And then what we're gonna do is first squeegee it down, ideally with, bring my other one, yeah. Ideally with something with not quite as hard of an edge, so we're just gonna use this squeegee here and just kind of make sure all the corners are down, all the letters are down. If you have anything like really intricate, like kind of like the edges of these flags or anything like that, you'll squeegee those down, squeegee the edges. And then we'll go ahead and apply some more tape on the logos and put those over the top as well. And then same thing as before. This time you're obviously getting the vinyl wet, but that'll be fine. I just spray where I'm gonna put it. You don't have to spray the whole panel for this, but spray where you're gonna put it. Peel this tape off. There we go. Once again, you're gonna wanna get this wet. And then once again, this is where a backlit table will make this a lot easier for you, but if you don't have one, it's still doable. It's black, so this will be relatively easy for us, but you're just gonna lay this down and you're just gonna kind of shift it around with this specific one until you basically can't see any black. So if we shift it, I'm just looking at the flags right now, trying to get them as central as possible. And once again, it may not be absolutely perfect, but you want to see as little black as humanly possible basically once you do this. So you can see there, most of the black, if not all the black, really is covered here. So I'm gonna just try and tack it just lightly. I don't want it to shift, so I'm not gonna squeegee too hard to start. And then once we get it tacked down, then we'll really try and squeegee out all of this water. The bigger spot you start on, the easier. If I try and start on like the corner of like this flag here, for example, like it's gonna peel up for sure. But if I start with the biggest section of the flag and kind of roll it as I go, you're gonna have much better odds. You see this came off, but these little sections didn't come off. So if I flip this and try this again, and then we'll go ahead and do the same for the last logo on here. It should be noted that so far we put all of these on the exact same side of the acrylic, so the other side is still currently white. There's nothing on that back side yet. We will still put something on the back. So we'll go ahead and do this last section of the logo. Spray your panel, spray your vinyl, and then just, if it doesn't slide right, you probably didn't use enough water. This here, I'm actually getting tacked up here, so maybe I'll spray some water just up here, just so it doesn't get too tacky on me. But you should just really be able to, like you can see that I'm just sliding this around on here. Then we'll just dry this side off, at least a little bit here. Then we're gonna flip this panel over. Once again, you're gonna wanna dry this off. After you dry it, same as the other side, use some isopropyl alcohol and wipe it down just so we get good adhesion. The last step, real simple. You can see on this table, it's gonna be a little faint, but you can actually see the logos on this back side. So for this one, real simple. All we're gonna do is put some more tape on these, and then we're just gonna lay them on the back like so, and like so, and that'll give you that glow effect that we saw at the beginning of this video. So I'm gonna tape these, spray, apply this, and then we're gonna flip it over. We'll show you what it looks like once we get it in the cabinet. So we'll go ahead and get started on that. Spray, spray. This one you don't have to be real particular about. It's not like we have to move it a ton. All you wanna do is make sure that it covers the entire logo. I'm just using the other logo kind of as a guide at this point. I'll go as close to that logo as I can. Make sure it's not hanging off the end on either side. That'll be good. I'll just squeegee it down from here. And then with a big block, it should be pretty easy. Tape should come off. Maybe the one corner doesn't want to work, but that's okay. Easy. Put all the edges back down. And we'll do the same with this orange. Oh, dang it. Don't do this. Okay, you're just gonna have to start it over. If they end up overlapping a bit, it's gonna be okay, as long as where they overlap isn't visible from the other side, because then obviously you're gonna get like a dual color look on the other side, which you probably are not looking for. But if it overlaps on the corners a little bit, that's not a big deal. It's not where the logo is on the other side, so I'm not worried about it. And then we have this side, we have this side. We'll clean that up a little bit, but that's our finished panel. We'll dry it off, put it in the cabinet, and show you what it looks like. So there, you're just gonna slide it into the cabinet like you have here. Push that all the way through, light it up, and you got a sign that looks like that. Pretty simple. I hope this helped show you just how easy it is to make something like this, even if you don't have a printer and you just have a vinyl cutter. I'm gonna show you a few other displays we have. These are all done with cut vinyl. If you have questions on how we make any of these, we can make a separate video. Just let us know in the comments if you're interested in that, and we can make that one. Everything we used in this video, the vinyl, the tape, the squeegees, everything will be in the description below. If you have further questions, again, leave a comment. We'll be happy to help you out. But thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you in the next video.